Hi friends, welcome to my technical training series session. In this training, I'll be explaining about the small scale manufacturing opportunities in paints and allied chemicals. Let us have the overview about this training session. Here we'll be discussing about the importance of paints and coatings. Then what are the different surfaces where we can give the coating? What are the types of coatings? Then what are the machineries available for manufacturing in a small scale of paint? Then I'll be discussing about raw materials essentially required for making a paint. And then who are the important customers who are looking for such type of coatings. Then let us have the discussion about the latest trends in coatings. Then I'll be explaining about my consultancy services. And finally, what are the opportunities we are offering under project training for entrepreneurs and research associates. Now, let me brief about the importance of coatings. There are three purposes of coating. One is decorative purpose, second is protective purpose, third is functional purpose. Now let me talk about the decorative purpose. So when you want to give a coating or painting on any substrate, let the substrate be a civil structure, a wooden surface, or a metal article or component, even plastic, whatever it may be. Any component, any machinery, any article that requires some aesthetic value. So by giving suitable coating with some decorative values, you can improve your value of the products. Secondly, protective purpose. So can we stop with just decorating the components with attractive colors? No. It needs to protect the surface as well as the component. So when we talk about protection, that is our components must be resistant to, first of all, corrosion if it is a metal component. Then it should be withstanding temperature, humidity, water, etc. So all these are very important properties to be looked into. So we protect the surface by giving suitable combination of paints. Finally, there are some functional purpose also. For example, you would have seen black and white paints are painted on the trees of the roadside trees of highways or any road. And also you can have the zebra crossing marked with white or yellow, and sometimes they are using some reflective, that is luminescent, fluorescent coatings, etc. So what is the purpose of applying such type of coatings on in traffic signal? It is meant for, that is, guiding the travelers, drivers, etc. And there is one more functional purpose I would like to share with you. There is a paint called sound deadener. Actually, it serves the purpose of reducing the sound by vibration. In those days, there were so many metal components, particularly in large vehicles like bus, lorry, truck, etc., where near the wheel part there will be lot of vibration. So we used to apply the coal tar based sound deadener, that is to reduce the sound, and that is applied inside the metal sheet. So that is one of the function purpose of paint. I hope now you should be very clear about the three purposes of any coating. Now let us move to the next one. What are the different surfaces where the paint is applied? So we got the metal surface. It can be ferrous metal or non-ferrous metal like brass, bronze, copper, aluminium, etc. But we don't paint on gold. After all, gold is a royal metal, inert metal, so it does not undergo any oxidation. Whereas other metals which have the tendency to undergo oxidation and thereby forms a rusty layer that should be protected. As in the case of iron, so we have got huge structures of bridges and monuments, etc., where we need to protect the iron surface, iron component from the aerial attack, moisture attack, so that we can avoid rusting. So, in those cases, that is, we have to be very, very careful about the choice of primer as well as paint. So, it should be anti corrosive. So, that is the very important one, and over which we apply the finish coat so that it will give an aesthetic appearance. The look and feel will be better. Now let us move to wood. Even wood surface that requires a very neat paint. Some people, they simply, even let it be teak wood, they will apply some solid finishes. For that I am not agreeable, because if it is some teak wood or Burma teak or rosewood, etc., we need to apply varnishes, that is pigmentless coating, so that we can enjoy the beauty of the wooden strains. So there is no meaning of simply applying any paint on wooden surface. So in that case, the clear varnishes are very popular as far as wood surface is concerned. Let me talk about, of course, that is, I should that is inform you about the varnish. How the varnish can be defined? It is a paint, but it doesn't have pigment. What is the role of pigment? That is, it gives opacity. It hides the surface. It hides the bare surface. But when we hide the wooden surface, what do you call those beautiful patterns, then it will be looking ugly, and that is not agreeable also. So in that case, we apply the varnish without pigment. So a pigmentless paint, that is resin with suitable additives and solvents, diluents, etc., can be called varnish, is it not? Right. Now, at the same time, we can also explain or define that is a paint, solid paint. Solid paint is nothing but pigmented varnish. That is, you have got the varnish. Varnish is nothing but resin. That is, resin is nothing but polymer. The very objective of applying the resin or polymer is, when it is in the can, it is liquid, it is in the liquid form. When we apply over the surface, then it forms a lot of cross-linking of polymer, so that we are able to get a uniform film. Now, let us move to the civil structures. So, on civil structures, we have got a variety of paints. For example, when we talk about the civil structure, we should be very careful about the choice of paint for internal surface as well as external surface. For exterior coatings, it should be weatherproof, weather tough, okay. And the major, there is an enemy for any building is water. So you should arrest the leak. It should be water resistance. It should be UV resistant. Okay. So in such a way, we have to select that is proper paint for exterior walls or exterior surfaces. Now, let us go for plastics. So the raw plastics will look very ugly. So instead of that, we can give a beautiful coating on plastics. When we talk about plastic, we have got variety of components which have been made up of plastics. Nowadays, even automotive industries, they replace many metal parts with plastic in order to get them better mileage of their vehicle. Now, even the glasses are coated with different types of paints, where the adhesion is a very important parameter, and the etching is done before painting the the glass surfaces. Now, let us move to the next aspect, the types of coating. So, when we talk about the coating, first of all, we need to give some pre treatment. Let it be metal or non metal or wood or anything. It should be properly treated, that is, pre treated before coating, before going in for coating. So, there are so many chemicals which are available for metal pre treatment. I'll be discussing about this separately. Then, primers for metal. So once the pre-treatment is done, we can give a coating of primer so that the surface can be smoothened and the consumption of paint will also be less. So this is applicable for metals, wood, cement, plastics, glasses, etc. Now, let us move on to finish paints. Of course, when we talk about the primer, above which there is one more coating called primer surfacer and putty paste. So when there is any dent, we need to cover that surface. So all these surface imperfections can be managed by giving suitable primer surfacer and putty. Now, let us go for the finish paint, and as usual, the finish paint will have very attractive colors. We have got wide range of colors. Then clear varnish, as I already mentioned, this is designed for wood. Sometimes for candy type of finishes, that is even on metal components, we are giving some glaze coat, that is clear coat with very high gloss. Okay. Then candy finishes. Candy is something like a very that is attractive colors, and it is made up of that is some colorful dyes, and these colorful dyes will be covering as a top coat over the metallic surface, that is metallic coatings, so that you will have a candy appearance. So in candy finishes, there will be metal base coat followed by transparent or translucent colored dye based coating. So that is called candy finish. And metallic paint, some people they are crazy of metallic luster, so we have got variety of metallic paints based on aluminum paste. There are two types of aluminum paste available, leafing and non-leafing. So based on the requirement, we can use different types of aluminum paste, and we have got some gold like metallic powders, then that is pearlescent finishes, etc. And above all that, now we need to go for a polishing also. So we have got fantastic metal polishes. Okay. Then before, if there is any maintenance coatings, we need some paint strippers. If we want to remove the old paint, that is we need to use the paint stripper. And now I will be finally discussing about the nano coating. This nano coating can be given in the pre-treatment, that is as a metal pre-treatment chemical, as well as the top coat clear. Okay, so we will discuss in detail in the subsequent slides. Next, as I already mentioned, the types of coatings can also be further classified as, that is water-based emulsion paints, then water-based pre-treatment chemicals. Then we have got air drying enamels, where by oxidative drying the paint is drying, that is by trapping the oxygen available in the atmosphere, the linear polymer of the liquid paint gets cross-linked so that it forms a smooth film. And then lacquer, that is by evaporation of solvents. Naturally, these are all NC based, nitrocellulose based, then acrylic based lacquers are available. And they are drying by, they are all quick drying for automotive refinishes, that is in garages, such type of lacquers are used. And there are one more type of paint, they are called stowing enamels. These paints that is essentially made up of some melaminized material. So here it is a kind of thermosetting resin, and by applying heat alone it gets dried. and that is why it's called stowing enamel. So it has to be stowed. These coatings should be stowed, that is baked. That is, there are so many types of stowing enamels. There are some high baking enamels and low baking enamels, then moderately baking enamels. Even from 70 degree to 80 degree, there is a type of low baking enamel, and normally moderate baking, that is around 100 to 120 degree. There are some high baking like about 200 degree, and there are some heat resistance paints also. And in fact, that is they get dried by the, that is a performance. For instance, these paints can be applied on the that is the heat engine part also, that is the exterior part, and two-pack catalyst curing paints. So here the paint is dried by combination of the hardener and finish. You would have heard about these epoxy finishes and polyurethane finishes. So they are after all made up of two components or three components depending on the type of system. By mixing properly in the given ratio, we can attain the drying and better performance. Now let us go back to the resin system. So we have got different types of resins like alkyd based resins, NC based resins, nitrocellulose, then acrylic lacquers, acrylated alkyd, then stowing enamels that is melamine based, urea formaldehyde, melamine formaldehyde, etc. And we have got some thermosetting acrylics also, then epoxy and polyester, finally polyurethane. And we have got water based dispersions like polyurethane dispersions. They are called the latest PUDs, PUDS, polyurethane dispersions. Okay. Then now let us talk about the machineries required for making any paint. Normally we that is a need a mixer and ball mill. It will be a cylindrical one by cascading the, that is a ball, that is steel balls and pebbles are available. These are all the different types of grinding media. Based on the type of paint, that is this kind of coatings are given. And that is filling machines. So once the paint is ground, it has to be properly made up. So we have got various types of mixing tanks, and followed by that, and even when we talk about the grinding media, there are so many types of grinding media available. Then attritor is a very good machinery machine required for making any kind of paint. Then pug mill is designed for putty paints. Then after making all these paints, we had to fill up suitably with some sealing arrangements. So we have got filling machine, packing machine, and we should have some heating ovens, and any paint industry should have some small laboratory setup. Then we can have the major raw materials like these are all only categories under which we have got enormous types of raw materials in any paint. For example, pigments. It can be white pigment, colored pigment, and basically white pigments are titanium dioxide, rutile, and anatase. So titanium dioxide anatase paints are very much used as a cheap paint or wall paints, whereas titanium rutile, it has got better opacity, hiding power, and they are used in superior enamels. And we have got other colored pigments based on chromates also. Now let us move on to extender. Extender is nothing but a false pigment. Okay, so it means it just fills up the surface, that's all. It acts as a surface filler. That is, it can reduce the cost, and in fact that is in primers and surfaces and putty paints, that is we are using these extenders very much. Then that is a varnish and resins. So we have got various types of resins. Then solvents, petrochemical solvents, they are the major solvents, and then additives. So when we talk about additives, we have got special additives. Additives are the chemicals which are added in very small quantity so that it will serve the particular purpose. For example, if you want to make a air drying enamel, we need some dryers. For example, there are so many types of dryers available. We call it primary dryer, secondary dryer. So these are all octavates of some metals like lead. So lead octavate, then that is manganese octavate, cobalt octavate. So these are all the different types of dryers. So similarly, there are so many additives. For example, paint has the tendency to undergo skinning. That is, there will be some dried layer formation at the top. So in order to avoid that, we have got some anti-skinning agent also. So likewise, we have got so many additives. And then now let us look at the customers who are very keen on this paint manufacturing, paint products. For example, we have got the domestic product like civil constructions, architects, then we have got carpenters, then monuments, malls, amusement parks, religious places like temple, mosques, churches, then swimming pools. All these people are in great demand of paint. They are in great requirement. So you cannot simply avoid any paint, because paint and cement, these are the two fundamental materials in modern world. So anyone who has invested money in manufacturing will definitely get huge benefits, and they cannot be losers in this market, provided they operate it in a very systematic manner under proper technical guidance with sincerity. Then industrial markets. So we have got automotive industries, plastic manufacturers, component manufacturers, container industries, engineering industries, chemical industries, electronic equipment manufacturers, even that there are so many manufacturing units. These are all OEM people. They are badly in need of very good quality paints. Then technical know-how. So we have got the technical know-how for nano coatings. When I say nano coatings, it is used for undercoating, that is a metal pre-treatment, where we call it nano ceramic coatings. So recently we have done some researches and come out successfully with a patent at University of Madras. You can contact us, and with the University of Madras, we will be able to help you also. Then candy finishes, then texture finishes, hammer tone metallic finishes, matte finishes, heat resisting coatings. So these are all my personal researches and experience I have acquired by serving in many paint industries. Then flame retardant coatings and water repellent coatings. So our consultancy services are paint formulation, metal pre-treatment, chemical formulations. Then we undertake turnkey projects for nano coating and powder coating plants. Then troubleshooting is being done in surface coating. So in any OEM people, if they have some problems in finishes, that is surface coatings, they can very well approach us and get our expert opinions, so that they will be able to come out of the defective coatings, and they can standardize the specifications of the paints also. Then we undertake a project training for entrepreneurs, companies and research associates. So we give e-learning training, we give short-term certificate courses also. Then we undertake project training for research students, and if there is any doubt, we conduct doubt sessions through Telegram, and we regularly conduct live sessions in Google Meet for individuals as well as for group of trainees. And we also undertake corporate training at their premises. So for everything, you can contact me in this phone number given, email address, and also kindly visit our website saitechinfo.com. Thank you very much for watching this video.